My name is Ayatul Mukhtabar and my student number is 8320200157, and I'm here talking about public speaking. Public speaking is a process, an act and an art of making a speech before an audience. Absolutely everyone from the age of 10 to 90 have found themselves in situations where they had to speak publicly. However, telling an anecdote at a corporate party, introducing yourself in class, or delivering a paper at a conference does not necessarily make you a public speaker. The first rules of public speech were elaborated over 2000 years ago by the great philosopher, the teacher of Alexander the Great, Aristotle. We know them as the three basic parts of persuasion. Number one is ethos, logos, and then pathos. After the ascensions of Rome, public speaking techniques developed in Greece were copied and modified by the Romans. Here, oratory lost its dominance and it's in the political arena, but gained wide popularity as a form of entertainment, allowing famous orators to gain political power and wealth by using their public speaking skills. Among such people was Marcus Tullius Cicero, a lawyer, politician, philosopher who gained fame as Rome's greatest orator. Around 50 BC, Cicero wrote his treatise called De Orator, where he explained his 5 canons of rhetoric that are widely used by many public speakers up to this day. Cicero believed that the process of eloquent speech preparation consists of 5 main steps: invention, arrangement, style, memory, and delivery. Public speaking has evolved from a skill reserved by a selected few to one of the most powerful marketing, educational, and brand promotion tools in any business. Most public speeches can be broken down into 5 basic elements, usually expressed as who is saying what to whom, using medium what with what effects. The 3 most common styles of speeches that you encounter in today's business and social worlds are impromptu, manuscript, and extemporaneous. To become a great public speaker, you will have to learn and ace each one of them, as it will allow you to speak confidently and effectively in front of any number of listeners and in any given situation. Impromptu speech is prompted by the occasion, rather than being planned in advance. This type of speech is written like a manuscript and is meant to be delivered word for word. Extemporaneous speech is the most commonly used type of speech that helps to establish emotional connection with the audience. It is built around key points, but the material can be presented freely. An opportunity to speak in front of an audience, whether it's 3 or 300 people, is the chance to sell your business or service to potential customers or clients. However, one of the biggest obstacles that many businessmen and women face is the fear of public speaking. Psychologists know that the very fact of being in the spotlight often triggers the whole range of physical reaction that we would experience in the face of real life-threatening danger, as pounding heart, dry mouth, shaky hands, quivering voice, cold sweaty palms, and stomach cramps. The fear of public speaking should not turn into an obstacle to your professional and personal growth. It is much easier to build a business or to advance in your career when you are able to speak with confidence and authenticity to any size group. Let us take a look at the other means of communication available to speaker beside the power of the spoken word. These include storytelling, body language, tone of voice, pauses, and visual cues. Storytelling can be defined as a structured, narrative account of real or imagined events that is widely used in public speaking as a medium for sharing, interpreting, and offering the content of the story to the listeners. A speaker's confidence, emotional state, and attitude is often revealed in the tone of voice. Study dedicated to the vocal part of nonverbal communication is called paralinguistics, while the term paralanguage refers to the nonverbal elements of communication as pace, pitch, volume, and in some cases, enunciation of vocal speech. If people sometimes tell you, "Could you really repeat that, please?" or "I'm sorry, I did not get that," this means that during your presentation or public speaking event, you will speak even faster, making it really hard for your listeners to follow your ideas or thoughts. Steady your breathing, focus on the enunciation, and reflect about the punctuations in the speech. Pitch is a placement of voice on the musical state, ranging from high to low. Usually men speak in lower pitch than women. Varying your voice in pitch during presentation is the easiest way to avoid monotony and hold the audience interest. Add color and excitement to the speech, making certain words and ideas stand out. Appear relaxed and confident to the listeners. Volume refers to the power of loudness in your voice. It is one of the simplest areas of modulations to master by public speakers. It often depends on the size of the audience and the settings the speech is delivered in. As strange as it may seem to many executives and business leaders who are accustomed to persuading and managing other people, public speaking is not just about talking in public. Short pauses that last from half a second to 2 seconds are mainly used for separating thoughts, emphasizing the last word that was said or building anticipation for what is coming. A spontaneity pulse is used when the speaker is searching for the right word or pretending to reflect on something. Spontaneity pauses are not necessarily unplanned, but they make speech look more natural, more polished, and less rehearsed. Long pauses can last anywhere from 3 seconds to a couple of minutes, and they are very powerful. They command the audience's attention by literally creating tensions in the auditorium. The main purpose of a pseudo pause, just like a regular pause, is to bring people's attention back to what is being said and underline the last sentence. However, instead of holding the pause, the speaker repeats and stresses their last remark. They often say that a picture is worth 1,000 words. Adding a visual dimension to your presentation can make it look more vivid, graphic, and professional looking. As mentioned previously, not every speech has to be backed up with PowerPoint presentations, statistical research graphs, and videos. In order to become memorable, yet widely chosen visual aids can take the speech from being barely informative to utterly brilliant. The positive outcome of a speech does not depend solely on the oratory skills of the speaker. It is influenced by many factors such as the topic of presentation, the attitude of the audience, and the quality of the material, the length of the speech, and so on. However, the remaining 98% of the success will depend on how well you present the following three P's: preparations, practice, and performance. Here's why the most experienced public speakers never go to talk in front of an audience unprepared. They know that speech preparation is their credibility. In order to make your speech both interesting and memorable for the listeners, it is important to consider three key elements: the audience, who was that speech written for; the purpose, what is the main objective of the speech; the direction of the speech, how will the speech will be presented. When you are developing a new presentation, set about an hour of time for each minute that you spend speaking on the stage. In other words, if your presentation lasts 20 minutes, you should block off at least 20 hours of material research, presentation development, outlining of the speech, and for its rehearsal. After you have learned as much as you can about your audience, their needs and speech settings, the next step is to create an amazing presentation. Easier said than done? The information presented by a speaker can be compared to the tip of an iceberg. Only 20% of the iceberg is seen above the water. The rest is hidden below the surface. Similar to your knowledge and experience of the subject should be much greater and much deeper than what you decide to cover during your presentation. An overview or an outline of the presentation allows you to organize ideas, highlight the major points, and bring together the elements of the speech in a logical sequence. The basic speech outline template contains 5 main elements: attention grabber, introduction, body, conclusion, and call to action. The advice that the famous author, speaker, and founder of Authentic Jobs in Cameron Moore gives everyone who wanted to master the arts of public speaking is to entertain and provide the meaty content to the listeners. After you have finished the draft of your speech, think of how it can be improved even further. A well-structured speech consists of a core message supported by clear major points that are in turn explained further by adding relevant details and examples. If you decide to add a visual dimension to the presentation, your visual aids should enhance your presentation, not distract from it. Public speaking, just as any other skills, require constant practice in order to be improved. The more you talk in public, the more you train your mind and body to recognize speaking as a familiar and safe situation, the more confident you will feel in the spotlight. Before practicing your speech, it might be a good idea to prepare cue cards or your cheat sheets that you will use during the presentation. The cue cards may contain the high-level speech elements mentioned in your outline, as well as transition phrases, keywords, statistic data, or punchline that you want to share with your audience. Speaking in front of a small, supportive group of friends and family members can be the next step of overcoming stage fright and to train your mind to associate speaking in public with a positive experience rather than a frightening one. Always seek feedback from your audience at the end of the presentation. Ask for their opinion on topics such as how convincing and intelligible your speaking was, how interesting your presentation were, how well you answered questions at the end of the speech, what was their overall impression of your performance. The environment you are to speak in can have a huge part to play in shaping the final presentation of your speech. If it's possible, try practicing at least once in the actual auditorium where the presentation will take place. There is no need to wait for an occasion to speak publicly in order to hone your public speaking skills. When getting ready for your speech, become a long-term optimist and a short-term pessimist. Believe in your heart that your presentation will go wonderfully and that the audience will love it. But prepare yourself for little slips, unexpected technical troubles, and other problems that may arise on the day of your performance. That's it for public speaking. I hope you like it and thank you very much for watching.